Hi guys, it's Nina. Welcome back to my channel. Today I have my amazing hubby Kevin joining me because we're going to be talking about our 2022 New Year's goals and resolutions, things that we want to work on together for the new year. So we're going to be breaking it down into 4 different categories: family and marriage goals, physical goals, spiritual goals, and then financial goals. But we'll start with our marriage family goals. So our first family marriage goal is to prioritize date nights. So our goal for that is to do bi-weekly date nights. It's something that we used to do all the time. Pre-baby, we would do date nights and we loved just dressing up and going out. Even if it was nowhere fancy, we would still just dress up and have that time together. But since Jaden came, it's just been harder for us to find that time together. So it's something that we want to prioritize. Maybe not, we might not be able to do it every week. So that's why we wanted to set a realistic goal of doing bi-weekly date nights.
I think that'd be really good for us. I think that would be essential to our relationship, our communication. I think we should have no food at the table and just starve ourselves. We should have no phones at the table. That way we can actually spend time together. Yeah. I know that some families have phones at the table. We were that family. We continue to be that family. I think we should stray away from that and just be able to have quality time at the dinner table.
Yeah, I think we've been really good with like making dinner a priority. Like all 3 of us 2 and Jaden, we always sit in and eat together at night. Even if our day is like busy or crazy, we find at least one meal that we sit at the table and eat. But making sure we keep that sacred family time by not having phones with us when we're eating is a goal that we're going to be working on.
Yeah, I think so.
So our next category is financial goals. So some things that we want to work on for the new year when it comes to our finances. So the first thing that we want to work on with our finances is keeping track of our budget. We do a really good job of creating a budget, but then we don't really like follow through to see if we're actually following the budget.
The biggest deterrent is shouldering some of the responsibility to you. That way we hold each other accountable and look in the budget, because I'll do most of the payments and all the things that are necessary, but then I don't follow up. The way we see what's going on with our financials and things like that.
Yeah, and our goal is to do it on a monthly basis, like check in at the end of the month to see, okay, how much did we make versus how much did we actually spend? Did we follow our budget? And I think that's going to help us hold us accountable to make sure that we are actually following through with our budget too. And if you think about it, if we do it on a monthly basis, that's only 12 times in the year. So it's definitely something that's achievable, something that we can do together.
Yeah, I think so.
Our second financial goal is to continue growing our investments.
And I think one of the ways that we can continue to grow is by setting aside a certain amount of money and start investing in it in the stock market, in your Roth, in an IRA. I know a lot of companies do it for you, but I feel like being a part of your own investment growth is important. I know our goals for 2022 is to get at least a 10% increase by the year end. And that would be great, you know, like just setting aside some money for whatever needs we have in the future. I know that savings account are great and all. You can invest more. Why not try it?
Yeah. And Kevin is super knowledgeable in that field, like when it comes to investments. So I definitely want to be a part of that and like educate myself more when it comes to that, since it's something that he's kind of like taken over. But I want to be a part of the process and knowing what's going on with our investments as well. And then the last financial goal is to continue cooking from home during the week. We were able to save so much money this year by mainly eating from home, only eating out on the weekends or for special occasions or birthdays, things like that. Mainly because of Jaden's allergies, we've had to eat at home, but it's something that we actually want to continue to do as a financial goal, is to eat at home during the week. So we save money when we cook from home and then just eating out like on the weekend or for a special occasion.
And then you like try new dishes, you try new food, new recipes. I think it's great. We've learned so much about, I think everything seasoning is what you call it on avocado toast, and it tastes really good. Simple things like that make a huge difference to not have a bland plate. But
trying new recipes.
Yeah, trying new recipes. But on top of that, you know, like having that financial goal to eat at home, we could also use that for physical goals, right? Having a solid food regimen, eating real foods and things like that. I think that's essential to for goals you have for physical. It's energy, you need energy for the day. So the more non-processed food that you eat, the more non-sugars that you eat, it's better for you and your overall health. So I think it's important that we set that as a physical goal too.
Yeah, so speaking of physical goals, that's actually our first physical goal, is to create healthy habits. And that can look a little bit differently for everyone, but for us, it's really eating less processed food. When we were talking about that, because we do a good job of like making sure Jaden eats these like organic whole foods. We don't give him anything processed or with added sugar or salt, because it's not good for him as a baby. But like, we're taking care of him, but we're not always taking care of ourselves. Like sometimes we spend time on his stuff and then we'll just grab whatever's like fastest or easiest. So for us, it looks like eating less processed foods, and, less salt, less added sugar, things like that. We don't really believe in like diet and diet culture. I don't think that's sustainable for a year, for a resolution, but more of like making these little healthy habits that are going to help our overall health, especially with the crazy year of like 2020 and 2021, just everything going on with health and a lot of the sicknesses that are going around. We want to make sure that we're taking care of our gut health and our physical health first.
Also getting some sun, being outside for a certain amount of time, getting some vitamin D. Another physical that we want to do is do more cardio, but not like run 3 miles, but like more like, keep walking outside with you and Jayden multiple times a day if possible. Just go for long walks, get some fresh air kind of thing.
Yeah, I think fresh air is so important for not only like our physical health, but also our mental health. Just like being outside and like being in the sun and going for like a walk, like you said, or a run, jogging, those things play a big part of our overall health.
I think so.
So our last category is our spiritual goals, and I would say these are probably the most important goals, is I think our spiritual health affects all the other areas of our life, whether we realize it or not. So our first spiritual goal is to pray with Jaden. And he's now at an age where like I feel like he's starting to finally understand us. He's 10 months now. Before, like he was so little and like we would pray over him like maybe while he's sleeping or when he's napping or when we're putting him to bed, but not necessarily like pray with him when he's awake. That's something we want to start doing, like even at the dinner table or before bed or in the mornings, is to pray together as a family.
I think one of the biggest things I struggled with in 2021 is I try to lead without actually following through with myself. So I want to actually be really intentional with my reading, with my praying, with my quiet time. That way I build myself up and being able to help others build themselves up. So I definitely want to lead my wife and my son in a spiritual journey. So that starts with myself. So I would definitely want to more consistent and disciplined with that.
Yeah, I think like being intentional with our quiet times is another spiritual goal that we have. Like you said, like I feel like as a family, it's important that we grow spiritually and grow together and like lead Jaden closer to Jesus. But it starts from like our own personal walks with God and making sure that we're spending time with God, so that way we can be an example to Jaden, that he'll see God's love through us. But if we're not connecting with him, then we're not going to be able to show that to Jaden or even to each other. So that's something for me as well, just having that like intentional quiet time and trying to be consistent. I feel like this has been a crazy year with just like a new baby and like you go into survival mode, finally past that newer stage where we're finally like breathing again. So like getting back into our routines and spending time in our relationship with God, letting that reflect into our relationship with each other and with Jaden. Another spiritual goal that I have is to start doing daily affirmations with Jaden. Like I said, I know he's still really little, but I just feel like they understand a lot more than we think they do really quickly. Just starting with, even if it's like 20 seconds a day in the mornings, just repeating affirmations to him, like you are created by God, you are loved by God, you are important, you're brave, you're kind, something simple like that. Repeating that to him on a daily basis. That way he grows up hearing the truth.
I tell him that every morning. That he's the most handsome man in the world. Just like you're the most beautiful woman in the world.
Oh,
I love you.
Love you too.
For today's channel. The last thing for today's episode.